Alright, General Electric Locomotive Generator, the Pullman Mail Generator Motor. General Electric Company GMG 150A4, cat number KE13269, motorized general. Used on all cars provided with a battery charging both road and yard. Operation generation between 20 and 25 kilowatt, 70 volt, 4-pole DC machine, AC meter, motor of 25 horsepower to 220 volt, 60 cycle induction type carried in a common housing. General Electrical Generator Relay Panel 17 FM 49E4, cat number to KE14199, regulator type 17 LH2 K22, cat number KE13470. User control operated with the generator. AC motor is controlled by the GE CB 7006D 53C1A C star switch. Alright, your motor generator. General Electric motor generators are built in various types of sizes to fit with the application where they are used. All units nameplates given the palm of the manufacturer number. The figure 35 shows the typical motor generator. Figure 36 shows a cut of the 150 type. Motor generator is a direct current with the generator and the 25 horsepower, 220 volt alternate current induction motor in a common housing. Anti-friction bearing used with the ball bearing at the commutator end and the roller bearings at the motor end. Bearing cartridges are used with the both ends of the permitting their removal. Without removal of the armature standard aluminium grease fittings are provided for lubrication in these bearings frame. The alternating current stator is wound on a removable core which is pressed into the frame head with the bolts of the direct current magnet to and from the common housing. There are 4 lugs supporting the motor generator, 2 on each side, are welded down to the frame and a design fit. Special Lord Manufacturing Company rubber with the Brazilian mountings, cat number to KE 12639, shown in figure 36, but not necessary to remove the machine from the car in order to renew the ACN. Armature. For the complete armature consists of the direct current armature for the alternator current rotor with the ventilating and on a common shaft of the rotor and can be removed from the shaft in an unusual way. However, the armature stampings are stacked on the shaft. Extreme care should be exercised when removing the shaft in order to distribute the stampings as they are only held together by hand wires and varnish. A double fin fan is mounted between the rotor and the armature. Air enters it bottom of the handhold cover. The part is drawn through the longitudinal ducts and armature punching within part of their armature field coils and it's discharged through the outlet slots in the magnet frame. Alternating current is cooled by the air entering the openings into the bottom of the frame head with the drawn over the outside of the starter to the other side of the fan discharged through the same slots in the magnet frame. Alright, brushes and brush boxes. Brush boxes, cat number KE14180 and brushes cat number KE13319 are standard General Electric design. They are 4 brush boxes, 12 brushes per generator. Brush rigging is adjustable in the clearance with 1/32 of an inch to 1/8 of an inch between the communicator and the bottom of the brush box. Should maintain with the sticking brushes will the damage the communicator cover the coil of the connection to the communicator to become unsoldered. Proper spring pressure is important and should be maintained at 125 to 150 ounces with new brushes. As unequal brush pressure has caused uneven wear with the current distribution of the brushes should be renewed. When the pigtail rivet is 1/4 inch off the communicator, method of checking the brushes with tension is shown in figure 38. Connection diagram generator shown in figure 39, which include the General Electric parts with the number of the components. Polarity is maintained throughout with the 2 single poles for the center of the hinge, double contact switch part of the toggle mechanism assembled the carriage, which is mounted on the end of the generator frame. Contact pressure for the wipe and the gap of the fix required not adjustment with the rotor with the trip carrier with the mount with the flange end of the generator shaft where it was secured by 3 1/16 of an inch cap screws. See figure 40. Alright, show the typical generator electrical motor. We'll rotate the view real quick so you can get a job. Typical generator electrical General Electric motor generator GMG 150A. Then we're going to turn it back. Alright, show the method of the spring balance strip of paper with the brush and the commutator. Method of obtaining brush pressure. And then show the Brazilian mounting of the GE motor generator. Slash is located in the center of the core length to reverse switch, communicating in position of leads, and then you have the rotation equal every bar equalized, and they show the connection diagram to the reverse switch or AC motor end. Generator one-term armature coil, then the cat exciting field with the communicator fields. Disassembly of the motor generator, outline drawing figure 41, show the tools required to remove the armature, reversing of the switch cover, the unfastening the holding clamp shown on the outline drawing in figure 42, the disconnect with the 4-cable connection to the switch. Remove the tie wires with the 3-cap screw with the lock washer with the fastening of the switch to the retaining ring. Disconnect with the switch. Unscrew with the 3-cap screws. Remove the switch row with the trip carrier from the flange. Remove the inner row with the cap screw with the lock washer 17 and 18. Figure 43. Fastening with the retaining ring to the bearing cap housing with the generator end. Remove the 8 bolts with the fastening. Alternating current end of the frame to the magnet frame. Complete with the alternating current end bearing assembly may be removed from the shaft with the frame head of the removing shaft nut. Lock washer preferably to play for the machine in the vertical position. Alternating current up and end for the remove of the frame head for the using 3 ejecting bolts on the frame head. It is not desirable to remove the bearing assembly with the AC frame head. Remove the outer and inner row screws with the fastening plate from the frame head for the bearing cap of the bearing housing. Do not remove the bearing nut and lock washer at this time. Alright, renew stator. The alternating current stator is mounted with the frame head will come out with the complete with the frame head. The alternating current stator may be removed with the frame head by taking out with the 8 fastening screws. If no provision is made with the assembly from the frame, it is best done using the 2 crowbars prying the space lugs directly opposite of the rotating required with to bring the winding out evenly as possible. Be sure that the alternating current motor cables are free to slide through the cable bushings, hoses, holes in the frame of the head before starting with the remove of the stator from the frame head. With the machine still in the vertical position, is range and raise all of the brushes and either hold and lift the armature with the vertically with the direct current of the magnet frame. The direct current bearing assembly will come out and complete with the armature shaft figure 43. Disassemble the direct current bearing assembly. Remove the bearing nut lock washer with the Channon pulley puller or the Red Devil. Remove flange. Note make marks on the parts for assembly. Remove the flathead screw for the remove of the bearing cap of the gasket. Use the 1740 puller and bolts, 4-tap bolt holes and bearing housing. Remove the housing, bearing pulling flinger retainer ring, which will come off with the bearing housing. Disassemble the alternating current end bearing assembly. Disassemble the alternating current end bearing assembly when the left complete on the shaft. Remove the bearing nut and lock washer. Remove the flathead screw. Remove the bearing cap. Remove the bearing housing using the 1714 puller. Bolts on the 4-tapped holes into the housing. Roll the bearing flinger. Will be removed with the bearing housing. Alright, show the flange bearing, figure for end, flange bearing DCN from retaining ring puller, DCN, cat bearing puller, both ends, fan puller, communicator puller, puller tools, armature puller, and then we're going to flip this around, so, alright, show the, let's zoom in here. Pipe plug, generator end, leads on the end of the extent of the outside of the frame. And then shows the remove of the assembly safety chain. And it shows the AC motor end. Taper on shaft extends beyond. And then it showed the direct arrow end mounting from bolts, nuts. General Electric motor generator. GM 150A. Turn this back the other way. Back out of it. Alright, 1 is your assembly, 2 for the gasket, 3 the flinger, 4 the ball bearing, 5 the bearing housing, 5 6 the pipe plug, 7 the retainer ring, 8 the wire with the 9 the cap screw with the lock washer, 10 the flathead screw with the 11 the bearing cap, 13 flinger key, 13 14 nut cap, 15 cup lock washer, 16 flange, 17 and 18 cap screw and lock washer, 19 assembly, AC and motor end, 20 cover the frame head, 21 cap screw slide block washer, 22 flathead screw, 23 cap screw slide and lock washer, 24 plate block washer, 25 nut, 26 flinger, 27 bearing cap, 28 gasket, 29 pipe plug, 30 pipe plug, 31 frame head, 32 bearing housing, 33 roller housing, 34 flinger, motor generator G150, AC and DC end. And we'll zoom in on this. Alright, to apply a new shaft, see figure 44 with the note, taking the measurements of each part of the old shaft with the make of the record, with the remove of the armature, run over the machine, remove of the motor, attach hydraulic puller, horizontal press, the make of the rotor and shaft in dry ice, 20 to 30 minutes, the remove of the dry ice, play in two with a large acetone torch over the rotor. When the heating and apply with the pressure gradually, normally at 15 to 10. Remove the puller, remove the fan, attach the hydraulic puller, play one large acetylene torch over the face hub. When the heating and apply with the pressure gradually, normally to 10 ton. Remove fan and pulleys. 14. Remove armature minimum press site with a 300 ton. Note the armature comes off the armature end of the shaft. Ensure all blocking collars of the press plate are aligned and true with the seat of the armature over the press of the collar of the press plate in place. If the pressure cylinder comes off the floor, armature end of the shaft is to be down. Apply pressure normally 200 to 235 pounds. Apply new shaft. Place armature rotor in uneven oven. Place in rotor end in oven overnight and to attain the temperature of 225 degrees to 250 degrees. Clean shaft thoroughly covered with no oxide. Place armature with a pressing collar with the ensure the shaft of the armature press. Make sure the shaft is home, normally 90 ton. 60. Apply plan horizontal uniform torch. Place on shaft with the right side out with a normal end, no press needed. 7. Apply rotor, take the oven temperature, place it on the shaft with press on the normally 10 ton. Using extreme position correctly, the not too far, not too near end of the shaft of the report of the record taken before the removal of the old shaft. Test. Take make test, make bar test. Check with the upset communicator, check the upset with the rotor. Take strip of the on cutout on the communicator, and if necessary, undercutter. Balancing armature with the give of the dynamic balance of the factory that should also be done with any of the repairs made to the armature. And it shows the assembly plate with the 2 eye bolts, and then a frame head with the AC stator assembled with the bearing assembly, your AC rotor, and supporting rack with a DC armature. And that's the method of assembling your stator and frame head with the drive end with the GM150 armature. With once again the DC armature, supporting rack, AC rotor, bearing assembly, and the assembly plate with the frame head. And that was your generator, electric motor generator for the Pullman series generator motor PDF.